Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to talk about Midi real-time properties. Alright, off we go. Alright, so in the last couple of videos we've been looking at the event operations window for quantizing. So there's another way to do this when it's just Midi. So Midi kind of has a quantize feature already built in, and we can get to it a couple of different ways. So there's two main ways to add Midi real-time properties to a track. One is we can do the overall track, so we can adjust the entire piano track. And to do that, what you want is your little librarian menu here, and then you want to pick real-time properties. And when you click on that, you'll see this new little chunk of buttons shows up here. And if it's an audio track, you won't get anything. It will only be on Midi and instrument tracks. So then we get a series of different things that we can do to the Midi on the track. So we can, for instance, what we've been looking at most recently is Quantize. So I can just click Quantize, pick my grid, and then if we want, we can add some swing. So it's like quick and dirty. I just want to get this guy right onto the grid and done. Off we go. And you can adjust duration that way. There's a little delay feature. There's a couple other things, velocity overall. So there's a couple other things you can do. So that is if you already have like a good set of settings ready to go. You already have a good sense of what's going to happen when you do just a basic quantize. The other way to do it is using the Midi real-time properties window. So this is part of the head of the track, right? And will affect everything on the track. But maybe I don't want to do something that drastic. Maybe I just want to say, adjust this one clip here. So to do it that way, the Midi real-time properties window will give us a little bit more options, and it'll give us more settings as well. So to get to that guy, I usually right-click on a clip and then choose Midi real-time properties from the drop-down. And then you will get this other window, which it turns out has almost all the same features that the event operations window has. Right? It's almost all the same stuff. You can do it this way, or you can do it with Midi real-time properties. Now, when you have Midi real-time properties window open, and I have a selection, right? So here's a clip. I can actually use this drop-down to choose whether I want the whole track or whether I want just the clip. If I do just the clip, it will quantize this guy or whatever settings I set. So say I click on Quantize, and then you'll notice there's a little R that shows up here. That means that real-time properties are being added to that clip. Now, if I do to the track, you'll notice that I hit Quantize, you actually get it at the head of the track. They mirror each other because they're the same settings. So depending on what I'm aiming at, I may want different things, and the Midi real-time properties window gives us that option of, do I want the whole track or do I want just the clip? Now, say that I do want to adjust this. There's 3 drop-downs here for duration, quantize, and velocity. So those triangle arrows, if yours aren't already down, allow you to adjust more things, like a lot of the things that we see in the event properties quantize window. And if you want to turn it on, you don't have to write to track. You can just click on it and it will automatically, and I'm actually not doing track, I want clip. You don't have to write to clip or write to track. You can just click it and it will apply it. If you write to the clip, that will disappear and it will become a permanent change. So it's better to just leave it on. It doesn't have any trouble processing or anything. It's not processor intensive like Elastic Audio is. So we can quantize this way. We have a quick way to do swing. We have our grid here. You can choose a tuplet if you know that you want triplets across, so you can quantize to triplets there. You have your offset to make things early or late. You can decide how strong it's going to push to the grid. You can do include, and then it gives you a couple of percentages. And then you can also do a little bit of randomization. And as soon as you've clicked on these things, it's on, and you know it's on by seeing this R on the clip for real-time properties. So that's how to do it with the Midi real-time properties window, which has a few less settings. This is my go-to most of the time, but if I really need some extra settings, then I go through the whole event operations and go to the quantized version of the event operations window, which gives you a few more things like note on and preserve note duration. But in general, Midi real-time properties is very quick to get to. You can just leave the window open if you're working on a lot of Midi stuff and then just adjust clips. Or for the apply to, you can also just apply to the entire track. And you can do quantize and then a couple of the other things that you might want, like velocity. And that is that. Easy, quick thing, right? Just using Midi real-time properties to quantize some Midi rather than using the event window to do it. So only works on Midi, of course, but for very quick adjustments, this one's usually pretty nice, and you can just right-click to get to it. And that's about it for that one. All right, see you in the next one.